Let me start that again. Hi guys, welcome new subscribers. There are 29 of you now. It's very exciting. We're almost at 30. If you have not been to my channel before, my name is Jess and I am a teacher, and I'm going to give a shout out to actually Miss Education is her YouTube channel, and she put up this teacher tag video I think sometime last week maybe, or at least I saw it last week, and she listed the questions in her description, so I thought I would record a similar video. One of my kids had suggested doing a tag video, so this seemed very appropriate, so let's jump into it. I'm also going to be doing my makeup because I feel like a bold lip today, because I'm just here in quarantine and who cares? I'm just gonna have a little bit of fun, you know? Anyway, so question number 1. How long have you been teaching? Well, I would say I have been teaching on and off my whole life in a number of different ways. As a kid, I used to babysit. Then I was a camp counselor, and then I went to my undergrad and did a bunch of teaching internships in Richmond, Virginia. I studied art education. Then I did not work in education, and after about 4 years I got sick of it and I ended up getting a job in Oakland where I worked in an after-school program at first for a couple years, teaching making, things like that. I started out working as an AmeriCorps Vista at the school, and my role was to kind of document what was happening, and the whole idea was making in schools and all this hands-on really cool stuff, and I just kind of fell in love. And then after that year of service was up, the school ended up hiring me on into their after-school program, and so I was doing science center support and I was doing after-school making with high schoolers, but during that time I was kind of working K-12, and eventually they hired me on to teach electives. I taught programming and robotics, to programming to middle school. I coached high school robotics, and then I ended up teaching yearbook. My background, I have a master's in business, and my undergrad degree is in art education with a minor in photography. That's what I initially had started in school for. So my background is kind of left brain, right brain, all over the place. I'm very entrepreneurial and always have been. Same thing with being an artist, and I just kind of take those things and put them into my work. And now, so I would say, I don't know, I've been really teaching in schools for about 5 years now. This was my very first year though as an actual certified full-time teacher. How exciting in the time of coronavirus. And so this year, question number 2 is, what do you teach? This year I taught computer information systems. Now, as I said, my undergrad is in art education, so how it is that I continuously keep teaching technology classes like programming and yearbook and robotics and now computer information systems, it blows my mind, but I always integrate the art into it anyway. Anyway, so right now the class I'm teaching is focused on getting kids certified in Microsoft applications, so Microsoft Word, Excel, things like that. And I teach high school. I teach 9 to 12. It's an elective course, so it can be arranged. It's always a mixed group in my classroom. Let's see. Question number 3 says, where do you teach? What state? What city? I teach in Virginia, and I'm in the DC metro area. I don't teach in DC, but I'm very close, kind of in the Beltway. Question number 4, what is my school mascot? If I told you that, it would give away exactly where I work, so I'm not going to do that because I don't know if that's appropriate. I don't know. I'm sort of working through what I share and what I don't on here. How many students are in your classroom? My classroom seats 24 students. I have 24 computers, and I would say 97% of the time, every single one of those seats are full, and about 85% of the computers are operating properly. Now, what is my ideal class size? Oh, definitely, I would say 6 to 12. 6 to 12 students is great. This is one of the reasons that I really loved working in the after school program, because small groups, it just makes it really easy to build community, and I like my kids to feel really safe and special, and I like to have enough time for each of them. But in reality, I think I'm pretty lucky, considering one of my good friends from childhood has class sizes of 45, which is something else. So moving on, let's see, what is your favorite drink from Starbucks? I'm going to change this question. I'm going to say, what is your favorite type of coffee? And I'm going to say coffee that somebody else has made for me. Now, I particularly like lattes, and I'm also into matcha lattes, which I make at home now since we are living in the time of the virus. So yeah, but if I was to go to Starbucks, I would probably get an almond milk latte with maybe a pump of sugar-free vanilla, but I have food allergies and I know there's crap in it that I shouldn't be drinking. So what is your favorite online resource? Hands down, Canva, canva.com. It is my favorite online resource. They are wonderful to teachers. They allow you to use a pro account. You can have your students join classes. It teaches them. I was able to really successfully continue teaching technology skills by using that tool during the shutdown, because we were working on Microsoft Word, and you need a desktop computer for that, and our kids have Chromebooks. So on a Chromebook, I just had to adjust, and they had learned a lot of the basics in Microsoft that they could apply into Google Docs, right? So I wanted to keep pushing, and I brought back Canva because it gives them a lot of the same tools, just a new look of a menu. So it's kind of good like memory practice, like how do you crop something, how do you layer something, and then thinking about the design and thinking about the purpose of a document and all of those things. But anyway, canva.com, hands down, favorite online resource, highly recommend it. Particularly that they give you the free teacher account. All you have to do is upload your credential or your teacher ID, and they were super fast and great customer service. So let's see what else. Number 9, describe your perfect classroom. Okay, perfect classroom. Number 1, windows, maybe even a door to the outside. Number 2, a lot of wall space also. I like to post work. I like to put their work up. A new thing that I've realized that's important to me in a classroom is mobility. Right now, my classroom, all the desks are locked to the floor, so I can't rearrange. And to me, rearranging is really important. I think it can really set the tone and change things up in a classroom. So I think that's another thing that I really look for. My perfect classroom has all the supplies that one might need. Camera, printer, scanner, all kinds of markers, pilot pens, zig markers, highlighters, scissors, whiteboards, materials just for creativity and expression. And other than that, really good storage so that all the chaos and stuff can be put away, and it can feel like a super clean environment too, if that's gonna work better for whatever we're working on. Let's see. I guess I'll also say one more thing about that. Right now, my perfect classroom is online, and it's not perfect, but I am learning to work with it. But one thing that I'm really worried about for the future is I don't want to go back into my classroom. I think that it's a complete petri dish, and I think it's a hazard, particularly because it's a computer lab. So, you know, it's 120 kids I have all touching the same surfaces, and the amount of disinfectant that would be required would be unsustainable. Not to mention my desks are bolted, so I can't space them out. So again, right now, I'd say the online environment, and I'd say a more enhanced version of Zoom, which started crashing towards the end of the quarter, which was kind of a bummer, but I was so grateful to have that because that really kept my classroom culture going and I liked it. So number 10, what is your favorite part about being a teacher? My favorite part about being a teacher. My favorite part about being a teacher are the things that you cannot plan for and realize until years down the road. My favorite thing about being a teacher is being contacted by my old students, like when they just need help or life advice or somebody to talk to. That is what means the most to me, because that means that they felt safe and connected with me. I would say on the other side of that, my favorite thing about being a teacher is that I'm the boss and I get to control things and I get to organize things, and I love organizing. What is your least favorite part about being a teacher? Well, currently it's just all the uncertainty, but I think my least favorite part of being a teacher would have to be the paperwork of it. I have a lot of language learners and a lot of students with IEPs in my classes, and there's a lot that goes into that stuff that that you don't see on the surface level. Although I think it's like critically important, and I like that we have all of these rules set in place for kids with IEPs. I think it's super important. It just is one of those parts of the job that sometimes gets hard when you're trying to juggle everything else. Number 12, what advice would you give a beginning teacher or someone who wants to be a teacher? Well, this reminds me of one thing that's come up a lot. Well, one thing that I push a lot in my classroom, because I have been like studying racism for several years now. It started in my after school program job because I was just kind of fascinated. But this is not answering the question, so I'll answer the question in a second. But my kids used to complain about not having teachers that look like them. And my answer to that is, guys, become teachers. That's the only way, you know? That's how we get teachers that look like you, is if you become them. And it really is the best job. Like, it really is the best job. And it took me a long time to get here. I graduated with my degree in art education in 2008, and I didn't really step into classrooms until 2013. And I don't know why I waited as long as I did, but ironically, the things I did during that time I use in my job today. So everything happens, things work out. But what advice would I give a new teacher? Well, one thing is that sometimes you can get hired before you actually have a certification. So let's say you have a master's in business like I did. If you apply for a career and technical education position similar to mine, I'm teaching business information systems technically, but my class is called computer information systems. But I got hired without a license, and that can get you into the credentialing process. So it's just kind of an alternate route that I think that I definitely had no idea was really possible. But I knew I had done an undergrad program already, so I kind of knew that I had what I needed, and I had talked to the state. But for those of you out there who maybe have a master's in something that's applicable for the subject that you think you'd be interested in teaching, don't be afraid to apply for the jobs, because if they like you, they'll work with you, and if you get a job in a good district, they usually offer a lot of guidance and support in getting your credential. I think the other thing that I would say is don't be afraid of the subject that you're teaching. I know that sounds so strange, and this is kind of weird, but I just turned down a position at my school to be a full-time art teacher, and that was a very hard decision to come to, and I can't, like, literally can't believe that I did that, because that's honestly my dream job and that's kind of the direction I'm going. But I've been teaching art while I taught yearbook. I'm teaching art when I was teaching programming. I'm teaching art while I'm teaching computers. So whatever it is you really want to teach, you can teach. You just have to be creative and mold it to your environment. The reason I turned down the art job, by the way, was because it did not have a designated classroom, and I've done pushcart teaching a lot in the past. And as somebody who is always teaching subjects that are super material intensive, I mean, I did that for 4 or 5 years, and this job that I'm in now, it was just a huge step up to finally have my own classroom. And it really does make a difference when you're working with lots of materials. And given the virus, and that I know what it's like to teach on a cart with materials and project storage and all of that, I had to turn it down because I just felt that it was safer if we were put back in classrooms, that I have a space that I can control. That's that. And I did not even get to the red lips, but I'm gonna get there. So I just recorded another video that I think is gonna go up. Some of my kids have been brainstorming with me because I keep telling them that my summer goal, this is one of my favorite things about being a teacher too, is that you get your summers off. And I love to use the summers to explore my entrepreneurial side. And so this summer I'm focused on YouTube, and I am focused on finishing / starting to sell my cookbook that I worked on for the last 6 years on my summers off as a teacher. And one of my kids just suggested, actually, that I do a get to know me, please forgive me, but this is really potent lips, so I need a get to know me video. I thought that was a great idea, so I had all these questions, and per usual, she's just amazing, and eventually I'll hire her on to be my assistant because she sent me a list of questions. So I have 2 of these sort of videos going up. There's gonna be this one, which is more focused on you guys as teachers, because I know a few of you have started following me, and I'm so excited about that because it feels like, well, because I didn't know what community I was building on here, and so it's kind of interesting to see what's working and what's not. And I'm kind of excited to be finding myself in this place with teachers. I think at first I just wanted to reach out and find people like my kids, so I like the balance of having kids and teachers all together on here. Now, I tend to go on tangents, which I'm doing right now, but one of my kids sent me this list. So I'm putting this video up probably the same week as this one. I don't know if it's already up or if it's coming up in a day or 2, but I think it's kind of fun, and you might want to pop in and watch that because those are questions that a student wrote for me. So I think as teachers you might also appreciate that, and I would love to see it on your channels too, because I think that could just be fun. And I will try to remember to put all of these questions down in the description. So that is pretty much where I'm gonna wrap it up. I still have to do my eyebrows. Well, not really, because where am I gonna go? No, but I have been wanting to put on this lipstick because it's just kind of fun to change it up sometimes. Okay, so thank you guys for watching, and I would really like you to be part of this journey with me. So if you want to follow along, my content ranges from teaching to shopping to general life rants. We'll put it like that. I'm sort of figuring it out as I go. But hit that subscribe button. If you hit the bell, you'll get notifications every time I upload. I upload every week, and I don't have a set day yet. That's the only thing. Right now it's kind of in between Tuesdays and Thursdays. I would also love it if you left a comment on this video. Comment and let me know, what do your kids call you? My kids call me Miss Jess. My last name, Ship, just is a little too close to other words. So and also, honestly, when I went to high school, I went to a special sort of high school for the last 2 years, and we were allowed to call our teachers by our by their first name. And I think that's sort of an important thing because kids are always expected to uphold these certain things. And when you shift that dynamic, I think there's a sense of maybe a little bit more intimacy, which I think is really important in a classroom. Anyway, I'm all about building community in my classroom and out. So leave a comment, let me know what your kids, what do your kids call you? And I hope to see you back here next week. One more thing. This is one of my favorite teaching tools that I just thought I would share. And maybe we can add that to the list of these teacher tag questions, is what is your favorite teaching tool, like physical? This changed my life because to teach education around technology requires a lot of screens, so I could touch their computers with this. You know, I can point at something on the board, I can make it small, I can make it long, I could go hiking with it. I don't know. This is a pointer, and you can also change the tips on these ones. I think I found them on Amazon, but I have to tell you the truth, these things got so disgusting this year, like, ew, just from touching their grimy little computer screens. But I love them, and it came with an extra tip, so no problem there. Let me know what your favorite teaching tool is.